What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Flex podcast from the Action Network and Fantasy Labs. I am your host, Chris Raybon, one of the most accurate rankers in the game. Sean Koerner will be joining me momentarily to discuss waivers for Week 11. Quick reminder, all of our fantasy football content available right now over on FantasyLabs.com. Fantasy Labs NFL includes in-season rankings, waiver wire, and DFS tips and more. Be sure to use code FLEX20 for $20 off. FantasyLabs.com/flex. Week 11, Koerner. I heard you were a little limited in practice this week.
Oh, yeah, just feeling a bit under the weather, but it's football season, so no days off for me. Just going to power through it. But had a good Week 10, and I actually already cashed on my Matthew Stafford over 22 and a half pass touchdowns. I gave that out kind of unofficially on the favorites when we were on there, like talking about like the biggest off-season moves, and I was saying, Devontae Adams to the Rams, should help Matthew Stafford bounce back in that department. So I locked that in after the show, and yeah, he already cleared it, and he's looking like an MVP candidate as well this year.
Yeah, so after he clears it, and then later in that game, Devontae Adams went down. So it looks like just in time, because I think saw Devontae kind of holding his back and just goes over and paid later. So that's probably good news. But we'll talk waivers for Week 11. We'll start as always at quarterback. Koerner, who are you looking at on the waiver wire for Week 11?
Yeah, so this guy's available in like half the leagues, but I think he's a decent spot this week. It's JJ McCarthy. Really struggled in what's essentially his rookie season so far, but I think we have to kind of take that in consideration that he's only, played 4 or 5 games now. So we can't write him off quite yet. And he still has Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. So he has the weapons to thrive at some point. But he's also been flashing, some of that sneaky rushing upside I thought he had, where, he's cleared 25 yards on the ground now in 3 out of 4 games, including 2 rushing touchdowns. And last week he rushed for 48 yards. So that's going to help raise his floor ceiling combo a bit. But this is a spot at home against a Bears defense that's, allowed the second most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. So this is the ideal matchup for him, where if he can't get it going this week, he might never get it going. So he makes it just inside my top 10 for this week, just based on the matchup, his rushing upside. But I like your guy as well. The guy you're about to talk about, I talked about, adding a few weeks ago. But I think JJ McCarthy's a good, streamer option this week. And, eventually if he pans out, could be, a high upside QB2. So I like adding JJ McCarthy where it makes sense. And like I said, he's available about half the leagues right now.
Yeah, and JJ McCarthy actually opens the week higher for me than the guy I'm about to talk about.
Oh, really?
So JJ McCarthy opens as my QB7 this week,
what?
Which I was pretty surprised too. But I tend to weight that rushing upside pretty highly, and I tend to downgrade the Bears defense pretty badly. Talked about it with Jackson Dart last week. Where did he play? Like 3/4 of the game or something like that, and still still showed out. So, but I do like Jacoby Brissett as well on the waiver wire. I think he's a guy who they clearly believe in him. Putting Kyler on IR, I think when he was kind of on the fence, I think was kind of a vote of confidence for Brissett. Kind of the same way you see Mac Jones continue to start there in San Francisco. So Brissett has gone up against those Niners. 80% of leagues he's available. It's about 4 out of every 5. And I think Koerner, you said it. He's throwing touchdowns. Like he throws touchdowns to Marvin Harrison, throws touchdowns to Trey McBride, and that really was what was holding Cardinals quarterback. If you want to put just a generic name on Kyler Murray, what was holding Cardinals quarterbacks back in the past from putting up good fantasy totals? So now you go against this Niners defense that gave up 280 yards, 4 touchdowns to Stafford, gave up a couple of touchdowns to Dart. Stroud went over 300 with a couple of touchdowns the week before that. It's really been multiple touchdowns 5 of the last 6 games for opposing quarterbacks, with a few 3 touchdowns. Half of those games were 3 or more touchdowns, whether passing or rushing. So like Brissett in this spot, he can move a little bit on the ground, doesn't really need to in this spot, but we saw just how easy it was for this Rams offense to just carve the Niners up. I mean, guys are running open all day in that secondary. There's really no pass rush to speak of. Like Brissett, like McCarthy as well. Brissett probably has a higher floor, but McCarthy, I think, just given that Bears defense and the shootouts that they get into, could have a higher ceiling, especially given his rushing upside.
Yep.
All right, running back. Who do you like on the waiver wire for Week 11?
I mean, I feel like I mention these guys every single week, but I just have to. It's Tyler Algier, available in 63% of leagues, and Blake Corum, my guy, available in 89% of leagues. And, you're more than welcome to try to sift through the Devin Singletaries, the Kenneth Gainwells of the world, to kind of eke out RB3 flex value, when you kind of attack those guys. But Algier and Corum are kind of already offering that. They're more like RB4s, especially Corum, where, he's not getting a ton of work, but still he's getting enough work to give you like reasonable output if you're in a pinch. Realistically, these guys should be on your bench anyway. But they have a big enough role, especially Algier now, where they're kind of lining up Bijan as a wide receiver a lot more. So Algier's getting in there, getting goal line carries, getting plenty of work. So I think just the market kind of overlooks these guys because it's been almost 2 years now where neither back has had a spot start. But I don't know about you. I think like both these guys would be maybe top 10 backs in my weekly projections if like Bijan or Kyron ever miss time. And they just haven't missed time. It doesn't mean that, Bijan or Kyron will miss a game this year, but the chance of them missing a game is the same as every other starting running back. So you're really talking about two guys that are already kind of offering RB3 flex value in the right spots with RB1 upside. So I don't know what we're doing here with both of these guys widely available. So if you have space on your bench, absolutely add one or both these guys. I think it could pay off eventually. And that's really how you win fantasy football leagues is, looking ahead on, upside like this. Now, if you just need an RB3 flex option for this week, I think Sean Tucker is a nice add. Bucky's expected to miss again. I have now stopped like projecting him at all to open the week. Same. I'm gonna believe it until I see it with him and Chris Godwin. He's doubtful too. He's doubtful.
Yeah.
Both those guys. Like I think, Godwin. I was kind of expecting him to miss the first half of the season. I think he might have rushed back, right? So I'm not expecting him back anytime soon.
Don't draft these guys who are hurt.
Yeah.
Where's Brandon Ayuk? Where is he? Where is he?
Ayuk was a good call. I mean, we'll get into that.
Godwin too. Where's Godwin? Where's he? One game, two shitty games.
Joe Mixon. Wasn't Joe Mixon being drafted like an
another
RB30?
One. 35, yes.
Now, Bucky was fully healthy heading in the season.
Yeah.
That sucks. Whoever drafted him, he's just, he probably should have been placed on the IR at this point. But I digress. I think, as of now, Sean Tucker's, their best early down back. And he's proven it now in back-to-back weeks. He's now outgained Rachaad White on the ground. I think it makes a ton of sense to kind of use Tucker as the early down back. And White's a very good pass-catching back. So he should be, the passing down back. And this is a matchup against the Bills where it might look like, it's going to be a trailing game script. They have to throw a ton. Not really the case. The Bills are a run funnel defense. I think the Bucs, it behooved them, at least in the first half, to kind of lean on a guy like Tucker early on, keep them in the game, keep the Bills offense off the field. So, I have Tucker as my RB36 to open the week. And, he's probably the goal line back. 2 weeks ago, they had a 1 yard carry on the ground and it was him. So I think he's their goal line back, probably their main early down back. And White's, the lead pass catching back. So, I think Tucker is definitely like a RB3 flex option for people that have like, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara on bye this week. You could certainly do worse than Tucker. But again, if you want more long-term upside and already kind of RB4 flex guys, you got to add Algier and Corum right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Jonathan Taylor on bye this week, you probably clinch the playoff spot and are undefeated.
Then you could. Yeah, you have depth probably. You have time. You could stash the Algiers and Corums of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. One guy I mentioned, if he's not picked up in your league, Kareem Hunt should be. You should be rostering him. He is still available in about 40% of leagues. He probably gets another start this week. Looks like Pacheco is going to miss again, at least according to Andy Reid. So. But if not, I think an interesting one is Amari DeMercado. We still have not seen a true update with Trey Benson, so this could change. But right now, DeMercado is still available in about 63% of leagues. And Bam Knight's also on the injury report. Now, Bam Knight did kind of take back over some of that early down role. But DeMercado keeps showing out when he gets the ball in his hands. Another long run for him last week. And there's a good chance that regardless of what's going on, just with the injuries in this backfield, that DeMercado is essentially the de facto number one back. And he's got a kind of a high floor, high ceiling combo because he's capable of explosives. He plays in the run and pass game, but also if for some reason Arizona gets behind and is trailing, he's usually going to be the go-to guy. I saw Bam Knight, I think there was 1 week where Bam Knight kind of got a lot of passing down work, but generally speaking, it's going to be DeMercado in the 2-minute offense and whatnot. So I think he's got a high floor this week. Should be rostered because I don't know exactly what's going on with the Cardinals. They seem to change it up every week, but guys are also dropping like flies. And I think with Brissett in this offense, they're moving the ball around better. And also, there was a short yardage touchdown that went to Greg Dortch last week that could have easily gone to a guy like DeMercado, who has that same kind of speed on the outside. So I think there's probably meat on the bone left for that Cardinals backfield last week. But
Yeah, we actually got some breaking news. J.K. Dobbins, that he might be landing on the IR. I thought like his injury was bad enough where they were kind of hinting at that, so I assume he was out this week. But if he's on IR, just real quick, want to get your thoughts on that backfield, because obviously R.J. Harvey managers, are not excited about that, but they know that he's probably going to be a high-end RB2 now. But it's Sean Payton we're dealing with. So how do you think this is going to sort out with like Tyler Bidet? Jaleel McLaughlin could end up being, the lead back. Who the hell knows? But is Bidet or McLaughlin worth add if Dobbins is going to miss, 4+ games?
I would probably lean toward it's actually equal because Bidet has been in there, but he's been getting no carries. So yeah. I don't know if that means that they don't feel comfortable giving him carries. McLaughlin was like the lead back last year until they all this upheaval. So the fact that he's inactive tells me he's only there for offense. So if he's active, he probably gets more carries than Bidet. But still, if he's not getting pass down work, like what are we really doing with like a tiny scat back too? So I think if you have Harvey, it's the best. If you're in the best spot. But just temper expectations a little with him because you could see some shenanigans with Sean Payton. But if I had to roster one of the two, I'd probably take a chance on McLaughlin just because I think there's more like upside to go from 0 to 100 with him. Whereas Bidet, they've kind of shown that there's probably a cap on what they want him to do carry wise. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think I'm in a deeper dynasty league, so I'm looking to go at him right now. We still have to wait for waivers, but I think if you're in a standard, like 12-team league, probably pass. Just if you have Harvey, that's a massive upgrade. But it's hard to trust anybody. I would say McLaughlin would be the guy that probably could offer RB3 flex value, just because like we saw last year. With Javonte struggling, they leaned on him, and who knows? It could be like Trevion Henderson, where Peyton just doesn't want to use Harvey as the lead back. So somebody could step up. Just something worth considering for sure.
That would mean Harvey's going to break off like 2 long runs.
It's great. Yeah, it's great news for Harvey. They have to use him now, but like giving an explosive back more work is just going to translate into more fantasy points. And I think Harvey, I just set my initial projections with Dobbins out, and I have Harvey like RB15. So he's like a high-end RB2 if Dobbins is out. But it's Sean Payton, who the hell knows?
Did you give him like the same kind of like workload as Dobbins, like 70% of the backfield?
Not even. I have him like at 11 carries and 3.5 catches. I have like McLaughlin at 6 carries, Bidet at 4. These are just really just rough raw dog projections, but I was just trying to see what would happen. And obviously Harvey's a smash play now, but I'd wait a week to kind of see how the other backs kind of what their usage looks like to trust them in really any format.
Yeah, and we're probably exposed to like Adam Prentice goal line carries now. I think remember Burton was getting them last year down the stretch. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere.
Well, I'll put that in my back pocket for the touchdown show for sure. And if Marvin Mims is back, he could get like 5 carries, right? So anything can happen.
Yeah, that's a good call too, because this backfield without a true running, like Dobbins is like a true running back. Like without a true running back, they might just resort to 4, 5, 6 guys, substitutions every down. Like
Evan Ingram could
yeah,
have a couple design carries too.
yeah, but I mean for 0
Your guy.
yards. Where is he? Where is Evan Ingram? I don't know. All right, wide receiver, week number 11, waiver wire. Koerner, who you like?
Again, I feel like I talk about these two guys every week, but it's Troy Franklin. Still available in 46% of leagues, but I still think that's probably like 40% too many. At this point, he's got to be added in pretty much every format because he's what you want from like a waiver wire wide receiver, where he's offering pretty consistent wide receiver 3 value and more, depending on how Bo Nix feels that week. So I think you got to add Franklin and you got to add Alec Pierce. My God, he's still available in 57% of leagues. He's on bye this week, so maybe that helps. Like, it probably won't require a huge bid to get him, but you got to add this guy because I think Pierce is pretty much a wide receiver 3 rest of the way at this point, with a much, much higher floor than we're used to with him. But he can offer spiked weeks. Like last week, I believe was the first touchdown of the season. And he's on, the highest scoring team in the league. So I think he's going to see more touchdowns going forward. He's going to still see those, explosive downfield targets. And right now, it's Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, and Tyler Warren are all healthy. So this is essentially, his floor scenario right now. If any one of those guys misses time, his target share is going to go up. So Alec Pierce is this kind of guy that you got to add, as opposed to, again, bouncing around from wide receiver 4 to the next wide receiver 4. Adding these guys after a big game where they don't have the underlying usage, you're just asking for trouble. So those two guys got to be added. And again, this guy in deeper leagues, just like a league-winning stash play, Luther Burden III. I still consider him like the best stash on the waiver wire, and he's my wide receiver 70 on the week. Still clearly the wide receiver 4 in this offense. He needs DJ Moore to miss time probably to really pop, or leapfrog Zacchaeus at some point, which doesn't seem like it's happening anytime soon. So he needs a few things to open up for him, but when that comes, he definitely has wide receiver 3 potential, if not more. Just he's buried on the depth chart right now, but he does have the talent to be a league-winning type stash.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is leapfrog Moore, because I think didn't Moore and Zacchaeus have the same kind of playing time last week? Yeah, Moore.
Yeah, well, Moore got banged. It seems like DJ Moore gets banged up every week and has to leave the game. Zacchaeus had 2 or 3 drops, really bad ones too, and then Burden looked great. So. And again, just because I would play Burden over Zacchaeus doesn't mean that Ben Johnson will. So, we're just waiting for that to happen. But Zacchaeus has been playing well before last week. So I don't think he lost the job quite yet. But that's just one of many paths I think Burden has to offering value. It's just we can't trust him yet.
Yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, I would just play Ja'Day Walker, but he got healthy scratch for Miles Boykin, I guess for some special teams or something. I don't even know what last week, but yeah, we're back in the Miles Boykin active era. Yeah, for me, I mean, this guy, talk about raw dog projections. I think he opened the week as my wide receiver 18. Before I dropped him a tiny bit, but he's still inside my top 25. And that's Trey Tucker, still available in about 60% of leagues. Going up against the Dallas Cowboys now, remember, no Jacoby Myers, and they're just playing musical chairs with the 2 rookies. Besh went from a 0% playing time when active, and then I think he only played 23% of the pass snaps last week. Thornton jumped back up from, I think, a scratch to about 60%, but Tyler Lockett was the leader at 80%. And it's Tyler Lockett. So Tucker has just a huge opportunity. Mayer's playing time went down a little. So they're in games when they're, playing and it's, maybe it's a little higher scoring or it's a trailing game script. They're not always going to go 2 tight end. They showed that last week. They still will play receivers. But either way, Tucker's going to be out there pretty much every snap, no matter who else is on the field along with him. So I think this is a great spot. He went up against like tougher defense in Denver last week, but this is the second game now he'll have as a the true wide receiver one for the Raiders, and this is a really great spot against Dallas. I mean, Dallas has been the worst team against receivers, worst team on defense for the year. So I mean, I know they're going to be playing with heavy hearts, but this is still a smash, just a smash spot for Trey Tucker. So he should be not only added but started wherever you have him.
Yeah, I noticed Lockett way up there, 80%, but he commanded 6 targets. So, and he already has a ton of chemistry with Geno Smith. So that was the concern with me, is Lockett just won't go away. He's kind of like the Zach Pascal of the league right now. You know what I mean? Man. Where it's like, what the hell's he still doing there? But he commanded, again, 6 targets last week. And I don't know why they're playing him so much. They have Zach Besh. They spent a second-round pick on him. They have Thornton Jr. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing.
They're in must-win mode.
Are they?
It's that time of the year. That time of year. You can't go 1-9 or whatever it is.
Yeah, Pete Carroll doesn't have time.
You can't go 2-8. You can't go 2-8.
And Pete Carroll doesn't give a shit about a rebuild. He doesn't have time for that. Yeah,
he doesn't.
This could be his last season for all we know. So
I think I said that even coming into the week before. I was like, what the hell? Like, why would you bench? He benched Thornton, scratched Thornton completely, and then Besh played 0%. I'm like, you come out of the bye at 2-6, and this is your plan, to play your rookies less. It doesn't make sense. But that's how bad Dallas' defense is. I mean, I would, you might want to start Besh and Thornton too this week. All right, tight end. Who do you like on the wire?
Oh, I love Cade Otton this week. Available in 59% of leagues, and like we said, it sounds like Chris Godwin's already expected to miss again, which isn't good for next week's chances. So we should see Otton continue to command not only the high route run rate. He's famous for that. He's going to be out there 80 to 90% of Baker's dropbacks, but he's also seeing a high target rate, around 24% of his routes. He's seeing a target these last 4 games, and as we've seen with them over the past couple of seasons, if he's a top 2 target, he's very reliable because, again, he's out there pretty much every drop back. He just doesn't always command targets when, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Ibuka now are all healthy. He's sort of like the 4th target. But right now, he's a top 2 target. Baker Mayfield's playing well this year. So, yeah, I love Cade on this week. He's my tight end 7 this week. And, as long as Godwin and Evans are out, he'll probably be inside my top 10 most weeks.
No Tez Johnson slander. I think Tez is Tez might.
Oh yeah, no, I have nothing against Tez.
Point taken.
Yeah.
I'll just name a couple of guys because it's really I had Fannin Jr. written down, but got a couple of guys that have actually jumped him in the ranks too. I still think Fannin is long term or short term. He's fine as a start. Against Baltimore, that should be a good spot for him. But Theo Johnson, also available in about 60% of leagues. He is inside my top 12 yet again, even with Russell Wilson projected to start. This Packer defense plays a ton of zone, which should help, the tight ends. And then Colston Loveland is still available in over half of leagues. He shouldn't be either. Kind of in that Fanning category where he should be a good long-term ad. But even with Cole Kmet back, Loveland is still kind of, as I expected, playing as that lead tight end. He's going to be the top pass catcher with, Kmet being a little bit more of a blocker. So even though Kmet's getting more, they're getting the same amount of pass snaps, Loveland's seeing a lot more targets. And I expect that going forward. So Loveland's another guy that he's kind of borderline top 12 for me this week. So Fannin, Theo, Loveland. Theo probably has the highest floor just because he's not splitting as much work with Bellinger. Bellinger's kind of coming into that 40-50% range too, but that's just because of the offense. They're playing more double tight because they have Rare and McLeod and Gunnar Olszewski as their third wideout. So that's more where that's coming from. But yeah, I think Loveland and Fannin deserve to be added to because their roles could still expand even from where it's at now.
Yeah, did you see one of Loveland's catches this week? I think it was that 20-yarder. My God, he's so good. Again, just kind of with all the weapons they have there, the rookie year's, making it tough for him. But down the road, he's going to be an absolute stud.
Yeah, and I think Ben Johnson's he's kind of figuring it out because same thing, like, Swift came back and got more work, but he still let Monogany get in the end zone and get a bunch of carries too. So I think he's kind of seeing who's good, and it's better than a situation like Buffalo where they were just like everyone's gonna eat and then no one's eating. So yeah, it's like at least there's talent there for these guys to be splitting it up. But yeah, who's going to be more annoying to project going forward? Like the Seahawks, the Patriots, or the Bills?
Just stop there. Without a doubt, the Patriots. Not even close. Not even close. I was actually going to do a Twitter poll this week because I've now 2 weeks in a row I've lost on a Patriots wide receiver prop. A couple weeks ago, I took Pop Douglas under. Career game, 100 yards, just not even close. Booty went down, so I was like, that one's cooked. Let's focus on the other props that are going well. But everybody wanted to highlight every time he got another pass. And then last week I had Matt Collins under 2.5 catches. Career game for him. So if anybody has like Efton Chisholm shares, they want me to they don't offer props on him. But if you need Kyle Williams already had his blowout game, but if anybody needs like a Patriot to do well,
give me Diggs.
Okay, I'll
Diggs
fade
that
Diggs.
Needs the blow-up game. Actually,
he's already had some really good career games, so I'm scared to see what that would look like. But
not this year.
But your point, it's almost impossible to project them right now because Pop Douglas, he's playing well, but they're limiting him at 35%, route run rate. Matt Collins, they love him, and he just had a good game, so I don't see him going anywhere. And Booty's up in the air, so yeah, give me the Patriots all day. Is most annoying. At least they play Thursday night, so we'll know right off the bat what their situation is and get that game over with.
Yeah, too bad, but we have no idea. All three of their running backs are questionable: Stevenson, Henderson, and
again. Well, at least we'll have clarity Thursday. If they were like Monday Night Football, that's the worst. Just having everybody questionable. Is the worst for Monday Night Football, but Thursday Night Football, that's great in my opinion.
Yeah, the Packers, add them to the mix. I think Bo Melton would get like their number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah, our guy Bo. Yeah.
All right, defense, special teams. Who do we like?
Yeah, there's a couple that are kind of available in half the leagues. And the best one, in my opinion, would be the Ravens. They're only available in 45% of leagues, but they placed the Browns this week, so they're my top option if they're available. They're just playing much better right now that everyone's healthy. There was a few-week stretch towards the beginning of the season where a bunch of guys were hurt, like their whole secondary was out, but they're healthy now. They're playing great, and they get to face Dylan Gabriel and the Browns here. So if they're able to get off to a big enough lead early, it's going to force Gabriel to drop back a ton. Good things will happen for a defense in fantasy in that situation. If they're taken, the Patriots are also available in 42% of leagues. They face the Jets again on Thursday night. So chances are one of those teams is available in your league. So they're both ranked inside my top 3 to open the week. So those would be the first two I look at.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually. So I'm curious to see your thoughts because I was just talking about how terrible the Cowboys defense is. They still rank as my best waiver option at number 7 against the Raiders. How low is the floor there? Because it's one of those where I feel like the floor is still because defenses can get negative points, so there's like a lower floor than usual with them. But they're available in 93% of leagues. They rank as my defense 7. I have them right ahead of the Bears and Vikings, who are probably more respectable, but could also just get, destroyed. So
yeah,
I feel like your two, if one of them should be available, but I'd probably just stick with the Cowboys over the Bears or Vikings if I had to, just because they're all low floor options. But any thoughts on that?
No, I like it. They're in my top 10 because with Geno Smith, you'll potentially get interceptions. You got Deron Bland, pick 6 waiting to happen. You're going to get sacks. They just added Quinnen Williams. So they beefed up this defensive line, and they're going to be playing with heavy hearts, like you mentioned, for Nealon. So this defense is going to be up for this game. So I think, they're still a bad unit overall in terms of allowing production, but I think in just terms of just like upside this week facing Geno Smith, yeah, absolutely. I think they're solid streaming option if available. Yeah, they're in my top 10. Where'd you say you have them ranked to open the week?
7.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's crazy at all. Yeah, no, I think that makes a ton of sense, and I'll probably bump them up a little bit actually. With a guy like Quinnen Williams being there, it can only help. So, yeah, that's what streaming defenses. You're usually taking defenses that are widely available for a reason. It's really just about the matchup, and this week is a really good spot for them.
You might see some. I mean, Aiden O'Connell, is he going to get activated? I think his window is closing soon, right? So
we're about that time of year. Shortly after Halloween. You get the Christmas lights up. Yeah, it's about that time of year. Aiden O'Connell's going to come back and give Trey Tucker, one of those legendary games. So
and we saw Pickett last week. So it's starting. The wheels are turning.
Exactly.
Geno's questionable. Geno actually opens the week questionable, I believe.
Yeah, he's actually hurt, right? Looks like just like a quad bruise, but still just a convenient excuse to bench him.
Ego.
Yeah.
All right, kicker. We know who you're going with here. You got to go with every week. Who is it?
Yep, Will Reichard. I don't know why he's still available in 59% of leagues, but he is. Went 2 for 2 last week, both of them. 40-plus yards, so he is yet to miss a field goal this year that didn't hit a cable on the season. I'm factoring that into my model. And he's always money at home. He's playing indoors. It's way early in the week, but there's a ton of games that have like rain in the forecast. Don't have to worry about that with him. Plus, the Vikings have one of the highest team totals of week 11. And, if you don't think McCarthy's going to be throwing for a bunch of touchdowns, they could be settling for a ton of field goals. So I love Will Reichard here and anytime he's playing at home, but this is a great spot for him as well. So he opens up as my number 2 kicker this week.
Yeah, he's my kicker 5.
Nice.
Now I'm going with Borregales for the Patriots. He's up there for me as well. Now looks like no weather in this Jet Patriot game on Thursday. I know you said Koerner in the past, so you like getting your kicker out of the way Thursday just so you know how to kind of approach your lineups. And the Patriots have a ridiculously high team total too because they're 11-point favorites over the Jets. Now the one thing I will say, like a guy like Brandon McManus would be up there, but he just missed another kick on Monday night. So I have the feeling that they might bench him because they still have Havrachek, I think it's pronounced, on the roster too. He just gets healthy scratched every week. So, if you see the rankings early in the week, I'd still go with Borregales. McManus will probably be higher up than he should be until they officially bench him. But there's like a lot of kicker just weirdness going on. Like you got the thicker kicker in LA. You got looks like Carlson might get benched for Vegas.
You help me?
He's on Monday
Can you help
night.
me update the our spreadsheet over here? It's killing me, man.
Can I put an extra kicker in, or do you just need one kicker per team? How does that even work again?
We're getting pinged. Oh yeah. We should probably just have all the kickers there. We're getting pinged left and right. This guy's out there. We need to just have whoever is kicking, just put them there for my model. Like it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, that's what I do. I do that
it's
too.
It's a team projection. And wait, hold on. Are you giving McManus shit for missing a field goal? You said you took a nap yesterday. Did you see how far his field goal attempt was?
Yes, but it's another field goal miss. The point is, it's like that's the Green Bay offense.
Yeah,
like they need a kicker to make those.
Did you? Yeah, I mean a 64-yarder in freezing cold with wind.
Hey, I think it was like Cam Little makes those all day.
I know.
Twice on Sundays.
Not everybody has a Cam Little on their team, but yeah, he took that practice kick, missed it short. So then LaFleur was like, okay, let's try to get like a 5-10 yard pass now. And, it was a disaster. So he's like, oh, fuck. All right, we got to kick it. And then, just complete shank. But, again, it's hard.
Already. Like,
yeah.
Him and like, Prater, like, these guys, like, it's like they always rank highly, but then they just are terrible. So, I don't know what to do with them. Like, I don't feel confident, but, and then Carlson, too. He's on Monday night. So it's another one where they just signed is it Ben Sauls? They signed somebody to the practice squad. I think the Giants might have signed Ben Sauls, but somebody signed somebody to the practice squad.
Oh, no.
For Vegas. So Carlson might be out. So that's another one.
Oh,
and then there's still the question of, like, is Fairbairn healthy? If not, Wright kicks again. Who's kicking for the Giants? It might be cool. It might be somebody else. Gano is questionable. Like, there's so many kick. I don't think I've ever seen this much kicker upheaval.
And it's like, is there like I remember there was like a account for fantasy baseball, Closer Monkey. They would tweet information on closers. I would get alerts on that. If there's an account that just tweets out kicker like statuses, that'd be great, because I need like something to push me, because I'm not like going on my way looking to see when kickers inactive or whatever. But yeah, like there's like 6 or 7 kickers that might be a different kicker this week. So if anybody has a source for me, that'd be appreciated, because again, we're just kind of projecting the team level stuff, but we got to change the names in our back end on Fantasy Labs.
Yeah, I that's why I just have them all in my model, so it will pick them up if they're there. Like, but I don't even put one kicker per team. I just put everyone there and just like project them that way, because it's just easier. But right. Greg Joseph for the Raiders. Carlson on Monday night is also shaky. Okay. Which that would normally be a decent matchup. Yeah, I'm about to just add him and just project him now, because it's just a lot. But anyway, that's gonna do it for the for the waivers for week number 11. We'll make sure we got all these kickers up there. But really, if there's 2 kickers on it, if a team has 2 kickers, they have no kickers. So maybe just don't roster. Just
add 2 kickers. Will Reichard, and you don't have to listen to this segment the rest of the year.
Seriously, yeah. Like, what are you doing? Like, why is Will Reichard still available in so many weeks? All right, that's going to do it. Be sure to subscribe to the pod. We'll have the player projections episode out tomorrow, DFS the next day, touchdown show on Friday with our guy, Jill Gallant. Koerner's on X, @the_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon. Also, be sure to follow Playbook on X if you are into betting. That's going to do it. Until next time, let's get this money.